guys, so gonna be
hello everyone,
doing this
welcome back.
plats here in the wall.
Another live stream.
Preparation first.
Done too many live streams recently,
Plasterboard joints.
so thought may as well do another quick one here. Mostly sort of talking on topics of sort of skim coat plaster.
So next I'll be mixing up some ball coat.
Questions or sometimes some questions seem to take me a long time to type it back. Get all the words out and type it not a very fast typer, so it was taking me time to type that back. Plus obviously when I was asked, I was in bed and didn't get it till I was home from work, so I don't think I was able to answer all his questions. The guy was just asking about skim coat plaster, should it be a thick coat is better or a thin coat? And in my opinion, you know, plaster has limitations, so of course always use the back of the bag should always have a guideline of their minimum and maximum thicknesses. The job in the background here is just me. I'm just working with gypsum plaster, and the reason I put this video on is because I think it'll help me answer a few of the questions. I'll also drop a link to this video. I think the title of this is how to fill in an old doorway. If anybody does want to have a wee look at that. But I think this helps answer some questions on thicknesses and stuff. So obviously the thickness of this door frame in particular, well, this was a door and it was filled up with plasterboard. So obviously you could probably fill it out with skim, but like I said, skim is only about 3 mil thick, not very thick, and you know that is 2 coats. That's one coat could be 1 mil and your next coat could be 2 mil, or you could split 50-50, about 1/2, 1/2. You know, people say, you know, how do you know exactly? But you know, the more you do this, you'll be able to feel it with the trowel. So obviously, I'm using an undercoat plaster to build out all the heavy areas and straighten up this particular one, which sort of leads to the guy's next question after I answered how thick you should go with your skim. He was asking, well, firstly he was using diamond plaster, which I think is an American based plaster. Use it a lot in the US, probably Australia as well, I'm not sure. But I think it's a gypsum based veneer plaster, which here things like that, you know, that veneer would probably be a shiny finish, where here you can get a shiny finish. But that veneer, I think you don't need to paint it. I think it dries out nice and white. Could be wrong, as I've never used the product that this guy is asking about. But he was asking about blisters, how to prevent them, and what to do when you get blisters in your plaster. So I was just reading a comment that dropped down there on the chat. From custom, but yeah, so just about the blisters, what I was saying, just in case I get off topic and forget it, I'll come to you now in a wee second. But I don't want to get off topic of what I was saying about the blisters. So the blisters normally happen, oh yes, the weather's cracker, so it is, it's warm enough for us plasters. But yeah, so the blisters normally happen when your background's still wet. And particularly, I'm using bonding here. I'm sure anybody watching this that's worked over bonding, if you go too early on your bonding and it's still a wee bit soft and not just quite setting up, I know in my videos I always talk about I like to catch it before it's 100% set, which you'll get that more with experience as well. But you know, if you get your bond, if you skim over your bonding just too early and it's still a bit too wet, you will get lots and lots of blisters from the moisture. The blisters should shrink again as everything's setting, as your skin and stuff setting. They should shrink in and you should be able to work them out. But yes, you will be giving yourself a lot of work, a lot of wrist work. Your wrist could be sore after a wall like that. Your ceilings could be even worse. You might get a pretty sore arm after trying to cut the blisters out. That's why timing, plastering has a lot to do with timing and getting your mixes right. You know, maybe 80% of the job is going to be all down to your timing and your mixes, and the rest is going to be on your trowel. But like I said, you gotta get everything prepared. You know, so it's all preparation. But yes, deal, buddy. The heat. He's asking me about the weather. The heat will play a factor on these things as well. Because obviously, if the stuff's setting faster, you've got to move faster, and you got to get your, like even your PVA will set faster if you like to work on it sticky. You don't like to work over it when it's dry. You gotta get your mix done quicker. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. That's custom saying about body fillers for cars. It's a pity it couldn't go as smooth as the skim. I really wish that you could use a gypsum on a car, because I could literally, I think I could follow the shape of some cars with a Hawking trowel and patch them up easy. The problem is with gypsum, it would rust it even more. So if you had a hole in a car and you started trying to use bond skim, it would probably corrode it even faster. That's why plasters love stainless steel tools, funny enough, because the stainless steel won't rust, where certain other trowels, you know, cheaper trowels will rust. But they're not to say that they're not good. You know, there is good deer trowels that will rust too. Carbon steel will rust, but again, it's supposed to. You know, we said it won't rust, and we sell them. So, like I said, you know, it's all about the plaster, what he likes. I'm sure there's people out there that can't stand tools when they rust. Personally, I have scooping trowels and pointing trowels and wee tools that rust, but I don't mind. I give them a wee buffer off when they're smooth. Just work away then. You don't want the rust on the finished product, obviously. So you just give it a bit of a sand down on a nice stone or a bit of cement on the floor or something, and you're good to go as new. Same as the carbon steel trowels. A lot of people who used to have one, it took me a long time to break it in. I dropped the plank on it, and that fairly broken in. It was bent like a banana and cracked. Yeah. So his silver saying that the heat, you definitely can't do as much, and finding that you have to fall back quicker on the walls. They're definitely going quicker. You gotta get on them. And finding heat like that, and it's the same as when you get high suction backgrounds, that, you know, you can, I tend to, when I was talking about when to use, the best time to use your superflexes and stuff is when the walls just starting to sort of go brown, you know, patchy and brown, and that's when I like using superflexes. But you'll notice in that heat, in my opinion anyway, what I'm finding is that your skim and all, you know, after your second trowel will set that bit quicker, and you actually need to get on it a wee bit before it starts going brown, so that you get right round it, comfortable. And believe it or not, it is actually more or less set anyway at that stage. But the reason I use this video, guys, as well, jumping back on the topic of the blisters, is that bonding is notorious for holding moisture and giving you blisters. Back to what that guy was asking, is how to sort of prevent them. It probably should have been the title. It's hard to prevent blisters. Made it got a lot more views. But again, and if anybody's watching this later on, not live and wants to ask questions, just fire away in this or in another video, and I can answer you there, or maybe do another wee quick live stream and answer it. But yeah, so how would I prevent blisters if they did happen? Used to get them a good bit when I was on site back when I was an apprentice, looking for basically my very first boss, and the best way in his way was to get rid of the blisters, because we had to bond the downstairs ceilings and the upstairs ceilings were just being skimmed. So the downstairs ceilings were getting bonded and skimmed, so they would always blister. Obviously it was site work and I'm working for him, so you gotta do what you're told. You know, I was learning my apprenticeship, work off what he's saying, but what I would always say is when people, the best thing about the sponge flutes is, for me personally, is two things that they'll do. They'll help you level out the wall, and they will definitely get rid of blisters, especially on the ceilings. If you give your sponge flutes a wee go, see if you're getting bad blisters. If say you are doing a site like me, or you're being an apprentice and you're getting lots of blisters on your walls and your ceilings because of bonding or just because the background's wet, if you give it a rub with your sponge flute, the way I use sponge flutes is 88 shapes, sort of the same way I use my float. Just find it just gets around the ceiling quicker, but you can just drag it. You can also drag blisters out, believe it or not. You can drag them out with your skimming brush too. Some people watch me skimming the ceiling and I put my brush in front of the trowel, but that's just more to get the water onto the ceiling. Don't like splash the ceiling, you splash yourself, you splash people around you, you splash the wall, you'll possibly splash the side of the ceiling that you've already troweled. So that's one of the reasons why I like sort of brushing the ceiling. I think it's a bit more accurate with the water. But yeah, back on the blisters. So if you hit it with a sponge flute, you can find that when it starts tightening them and you give it a hit, you'll find that your blisters basically go away. That you'll have very little blisters after a good sponge flute. So that's sort of two ways I do it. One was the brush, you can drag them out in the brush, and two, sponge flute. Another tip with sponge flute is it likes in it wee nibs and stuff, where you're going between two beads and you've left yourself a heavy coat of skim. Skim can be a bit of a nightmare, especially multi-finish can be a bit of a nightmare where it sort of, can slump a wee bit on you because it's getting, again, plastering timings. And obviously if you're doing a lot of walls, your timings are going to be off for certain things. You might stay on your routine and forget the nibs and think, oh, I should have them first. But again, a sponge flute, if you drag your sponge flute up and down, it likes to be nibs, and I don't want to say reveals, but I want to say returns. If you actually look at the background here of the plaster, what I'm doing, imagine this stud wall wasn't there, and then me nibs to my right there had two beads side by side going all the way up, and like a pillar sort of thing. A sponge flute can help you level that out, and just let it pick up, and then give it a good hard trowel, and you find it comes out flat and even. But you can do it again. You could do it with an ordinary car sponge, same thing, same idea. But that's that options, and I know there's more options. I think Refina are doing them. It's called a blister brush. I personally haven't used it, but I know other guys are saying that they're good. So it might be another option if you want to see if you can beat the blisters back quicker. So get the second coat on nice and neat as possible. Once on your good as well, you can back and work with a spray of water. So yeah, Dale's just writing in ways that he thinks is getting rid of his blisters. But yeah, you tend to find that the blisters will soak back into the wall, especially when you're working them. You can work them out. No other plasters kind of, if there's still some blisters, they'll just scrape them down at the end, but I prefer to get them out first. Just sort of the way I go about things. I sort of like to have everything done before it's done. I call it buckles and braces. What I prefer to use is belts and buckles, belts and braces, but belts, buckles and braces, let's call it that. Screws and bolts. Try and get everything done in there first. But yeah, the heat is definitely playing a factor in plastering. I'm enjoying the heat, but also like today I was very tired. I wasn't doing a big job, and the heat was sapping me. I was thinking that the t-shirt was wearing was a bit heavy, so definitely gotta stay cool and stay hydrated, that sort of way. So on top of things as well, I need to do a follow up on the Ragney trowel. I need to show you the difference of the two handles, height differences, the knuckle clearance. But yeah, on first feel of that Ragney trowel, it feels brilliant. When I first looked at it, I thought, it's not a plastic handle, but as soon as I touched it, it's a good rubber handle. It doesn't look plastic, but it's very comfortable.
Some people do prefer to use the float method.
Similar to the Refina, similar rubber to that, and similar rubber to the the Ragnai trowel using previous that as well.
So you get your stuff mixed up, or even just before where I give this a scrape, but give your coat a wee quick.
Stretch them all behind but yeah, the video was a disaster question, but did answer by text as well there, and you got it. But yeah, they were answered as well on that video. I think that video was the hard plaster video, which is, I think I've got it in the descriptions there. Yep, hard plaster video for DIYers. But again, you probably most people probably already watched that. There'll be maybe the newer subscribers making some of these videos. Yeah, they're all there to be watched anyway. Yes, I've balled it out. Not sure if you caught the very start of the video, Andrew Bully, but I'm about to skim this background here now. You can see different colour. The undercoat there is bald. It's funny as well that the other day I was in B&Q picking up some materials, and I seen undercoat plaster, something I haven't seen in a while. Hardwall, so I haven't seen that there, you know. Yeah, funny the undercoat there, the browner colour, that's balding a backing plaster, and then I'm doing the skim coat, the top coat here now. So you can see the difference of colour. But yeah, I just thought it was strange to see B&Q selling hardwall. I was tempted, if I had my video, I was tempted to take a wee video shot of all the hardwall bags sitting there. I should have actually looked at the price. Both you speaking. Not sure, I think it's just me speaking.
You want to get your skim on as flat as possible, both coats, first and second coats.
Yeah, Stephen, buddy, definitely. Sponge float definitely does take blisters out, and it's probably more or less the only time I really reach for a sponge float if the blisters are annoying me, but I do tend to get them out. Anyway, I don't tend to get too many blisters in my work. It's obviously still a topic, as you know, it's with preparation that way. So. I think I've turned the audio off now, Andrew, buddy, for the video. I'm not 100% sure. I think I may have messed up my audio here for this whole video, so apologise on that. But I'm not sure if I turned my mic off there as well for a wee while. I was answering Stephen there. Yeah, sweet. I got it. Cheers, Dukes, buddy. My mate Donald, guys. Use a fibrous plaster and the plaster. So there you go. He has the best of both worlds, definitely. Hopefully, actually, can hook up with him and get him to run a few molds, maybe, and sort of show off his skills. Sorry, Andrew, buddy. I didn't realise that I had the video and my audio going for some reason. all my settings on YouTube and the sort of streaming thing that I'm using has all reset somehow. I'm not sure how that happened. Maybe it's because I haven't done a live stream in such a long time, but I'll keep at it. But yeah, I'm not sure if you've seen all the, probably couldn't really hear everything I was saying at the start, but we're getting there. But yeah, I'm not sure. I know the sponge float works good on the blisters, but I have never used the blister brush myself. I think it's just really a sponge on the top of a brush handle by the looks of things, similar idea as sponge float. But I'm not sure how good it works, or if anybody in the chat, or even later on if anybody watches this live, has used it and what they think of it. Let me know what you guys think. I'll maybe try and pick one up myself and see. But I have a few more footages. I want to see the big ceiling I did in this heat as well. I want to get that uploaded and kind of show that. That was an intense job there. It was, as soon as I got the one side of the ceiling, I had to rush back and start again. It was just constant clean water, fresh water for every mix, try not to scrape the bucket out well so it was nice and clean as well. As you know, you can't wet a plasterboard ceiling, Sponging, well, I haven't used the sponge float in a good few years, Richard, buddy. At the minute the heat is literally speeding everything up anyway. I think a sponge float might open it up a wee bit more, so I think it would actually speed it up slightly, in my opinion. There's Andrew, hasn't used sponge in 20 years for plastering, so, but you can get away without them, but they do have, in my opinion, like, they do have their tactics to be used. Like Steven says, certain nibs in that there, you can use it as a float. You can use a float too, right enough. You can float your reveals in your head. Say if you did have to put on a heavier coat of skim, you can actually wet down your float, give it a wet, and rub it up with the float slightly, and it will square it up that much. Try it in a wee cupboard or something that has a reveal or something, small. If you let it sort of tick up, give it a wet, give it a bit of a float, even with the float, and you'll be surprised how much that'll help level things out when you then cut it with a trowel. It does sound crazy if you've never really done it. It sounds mental, but it does work. Things like that there, it's just a different wee tactic to have. But these are things you'll maybe try, when trowel that's making it slump or something. You might think, I'm gonna run a sponge up this and see if it holds shape better that way. But yeah, it's not like you can see. I'm working over bonding here. I don't think in this job I got too much blisters, but I'm getting on fine just with the traditional, just the brush and the trowel. But saying that, I know sponges have been around, and sponge finishes. I've seen people do idiot finishes in cupboards and stuff, and lofts. Very, very quick. Another old boss of mine, he used to love idiot ceilings. We called it idiot because we would just run the sponge in idiot motions and leave. It does. When you look at it, it's quite a neat finish considering how you're doing it. It's just a sponge and you're just going idiot, idiot, and then you clean your angles with either a tussle brush or a wee margin trowel. Just go around and clean your angles out with that, and then skim your walls. Very, very quick. That way. But personally I like a flat ceiling, but that's another tactic to finishing things quickly. Stipple as well is very quick. Yeah, do you see this skim that I'm using? It's Carlite. I'm not sure if this is the red bags or the blue bags. I imagine it's the blue bags because I'm doing smaller areas, so I do want it to set quicker that way. But I find Carlite, you know, I have done videos on Carlite first and multi-finish, and they're not very popular videos, but they might be worth a wee watch. They're my opinions on what I think's better. Personally, I think Carlite finish is better than multi-finish. I know in England you can't get Carlite quite as much as well, so you know, people ask me all the time, what's that grey stuff you're using? They're probably looking at it thinking he's got about 20 cement in that thing, but I don't. You know, that way. So this is 100% skim. I never put cement in my finish to try and set it quicker. It's always just skim. That way. Getting loads of questions here. Two seconds, guys. I don't want to get sort of off track of what I was saying there. But so yeah, Carlite. I do have videos of Carlite finish versus multi finish. And just quickly, I do think Carlite's better. It's just that bit creamier for me. Wee bit less elbow grease. So that's always good. You know, that's why I like the superflexes, because when the wall's hard and you want to give it a good trowel, it takes a wee bit less out of the arm, you know. And then there's multi-finish. I think multi-finish is good. I do use it. I use it regular as well. But you know, if there one has an edge, I know which one I would want to go for. But then when we're talking about bonding, we have Carlite bonding here and we have the thistle bonding. I like the thistle bonding better. You know, thistle bonding to me sets a bit quicker. It's, you know, a wee bit grainier and stuff, so it will, you know. And then thistle also did, I think it was thistle or was it Carlite, they did like an easy spread, so you don't have to dilute your bonding with finish. Easy spread, basically the vermiculates were more bally, so when you were coating it on, it was just flying off the trowel. It was brilliant. You know, it was gliding off your trowel. Don't know if anybody ever remembers the bonding easy spread. If you do, let me know. If you're watching this live now or later on, drop me a comment. But that easy spread with the wee bits of vermiculite with the balls, it definitely, when you're coating ceilings, you notice the difference straight away with that gear. So Andrew's just asked me why I didn't take it to the corner. The guy on the job, basically that's is all he wanted. If you actually look to the left, there's another patch. He just wanted everything patched. I think he was wanting things to dry out quicker and stuff, so he could get painting. Not that that's going to have a massive impact. Also, when I had an edge across the wall, Andrew, buddy, both them walls were pretty straight to each other. So if I went over the top of that skim, I would have just threw it off slightly, only by millimeters. But you know, I was trying to keep everything nice for the skirtings. That way, you know, so when he puts the skirting on, that there's literally no gap at the top. So that sort of answers that one. Scenes. Another Andrew's asking me, Slother is asking me about ceilings. I actually do have, I think I've got 2 decent videos on ceilings. One where I'm actually using this speed skim here that I'm holding, where I show how I use it for the first coat. It's called Speed Skim Demo. I think it's decent. I try and get as much info in that video as much as I can. And another one was, what was the other one? The other one's how to plaster a ceiling. But I'm not sure that's a great video. I do have another video coming up where I'm skimming ceilings, and I'm trying to do a voiceover and talk about it. They're very large ceilings. Took 3 of my big buckets, believe it or not, to skim them, which is a lot of plaster. It's 160 litres on another radius, so it's like 220. Basically, it's 3 times 80. My mouse isn't great that way, just at the minute, trying to think. So yeah, it's a big ceiling. I might do a voiceover on that ceiling as well and talk about it. But yeah, in the next ceiling I might try and get the tripod set up and do a harder plaster ceiling. I'll do Slother. I'm not sure. probably messing up your second name, buddy. Sorry if I am. So Gordon Mackey is plastering 20 years and started using sponge float and speed skim Plastiflex. But yeah, buddy, I don't use the Plastiflex as much as I would the superflex for finishing. But believe it or not, I had a video. I did a loft and I had a video of me using the Plastiflex, and see the helpful it was on all the rounds and all. And it was a really warm loft. What lofts are nearly always warm unless it's freezing outside in the cold. But yeah, the Plastiflex, to me, it was just gliding over everything. I get through the first and second trials so easy. It was unbelievable. And believe it or not, for some reason the camera I was using didn't record. I was gutted. It actually messed me up that whole way. But speed skim, I always use a speed skim on a big ceiling. And more or less every scene I do, I would always use it for my corners, pulling out, just getting a good straight edge and stuff. I find the speed skim great for that. I'm using the Axe and the Refina superflexes at the minute. The only superflex trowels I actually have at the minute, and again, for finishing, I love them. You know, I more or less have the wall complete by that stage anyway. But I find the Axe, it can give a real good cut. I know I have a buddy Ryan, and he agrees with me. He thinks the Axe gives a hell of a cut when you want it to. I think the double blade on it's a bit shorter. But you know, depends how well you have your scene finished to that stage. You don't really need to cut so much anyway. But no, I'll do no bother, buddy. But yeah, there's actually a patch. That's what I'm saying. I've done a lot of patches. There's a beam to the left of this that was patched, and a couple of other patches, and obviously the other side was patched. But I think the guy was trying to keep costs down to a minimum. So you know, when people are when they're wanting their jobs done, you know, trying to save money, they'll always want to try and get you to do less plastering, which is fair enough, you know. But you know yourself, when you need a day's work and somebody has patching to do, you're gonna go with the flow and get it done. But like I said previous videos as well, don't, you know, every job I do, I try to do it to as much excellence as I can, that way. So Roxana's asking me what kind of trowel do I use for my skimming. At the minute, my main skimming trowel is still the Refina trowel. The way I've got it broken in, believe it or not, my bro was with me. Somebody was asking me who helps me. Sometimes my wee bro will help me out plastering. But I have my Refina trowel at the minute is brilliant. This is an Axe trowel I'm using here, and again, it's brilliant skimming trowel as well. I find that Axe trowels, if anybody's ever stuck for a skimming trowel, to me, Axe and Tyzac, if you're going to do a week, if you need a skimming trowel that week and you've got a couple of days floating, you would almost have them broken lovely for skimming after a couple of days floating. I think the metal's just that wee bit flexible around them and it will break in quicker. So Axe and Tyzac are brilliant. If you're stuck for a skimming trowel, they'll break in quicker. The Refina is a bit more like Marshalltown relations, where losing my voice, where the Refina will take that bit longer, a wee bit more sand cement work to break in. But believe me, when you have the Refina broke in, like I set my hawk and trowel down and I went to move my hand, but my trowel had spun on my board. I tend to use a mortar board, or people call it spat board. Some jobs I use out of a bucket as well. Just depends what's going to work best at the time, what's quicker, what's handier, what's cleaner. You know, taking a board and stand out of the van isn't, out of my van, it's not particularly fun. I need to get a wee bit more organised with my van. I tend to have lots of different tools, screed tools, skimming tools, rendering tools, dicing tools in the van, so it can all get plugged up. But yeah, so as my Refina trowel flipped round, I tipped the tip of my finger and it slit me clean open. And I was saying clean open, you're talking about a wee slice, you know, like a paper cut, but I only tipped this trowel and it was so sharp, It was pretty sore where I caught, you know. Yeah, that's true. Andrew Pedley's making a good point, what floating is. I'm going to have to actually make a video to explain this, because, you know, plasters, when I'm talking here, I know there may be a lot of DIYers and new apprentices here that, you know, and builders and stuff that want to get into plastering. Floating and troweling, they're two different things to plaster. Rendering and skimming, you know, there's so many different things. A float is a plastic float. You know, people call what I'm using a steel float as well, that's fine, you know. They'll say float up the wall, but most plasters I know will say you trowel up the wall with the steel trowel, and you float up a wall, similar to what I was doing with my sand and cement, and rubbing it up that way. So I'll maybe make a video and try and explain. It's a bit confusing and maybe confusing people as well when I'm talking about floating up skim and floating up sand, cement and troweling skim. So that's another. Andrew, you're making a good point there, buddy. It's definitely this is going to be a must video for me. Where they can then refer to this for methods. You know, maybe have that as methods of finishing sand, cement and skim and trying to explain things. But yeah, definitely, yes. Once straight after second coat, I think you'll really notice the benefits of this method on walls where it's light hitting in from sharp angles. So rock on, yeah. So my main skim and trowel at the minute is still the Refina, their SS trowel I'm using. I think it is premium SS trowel, stainless steel. SS just means stainless steel. Well, I think it does anyway, just having a stab in the dark there. But if you go on the Refina site, I'm sure, you know, if you type in Refina SS skimming trowel, it will pop up. But this trowel here I'm using on this particular video is the Ox trowel. This is an older video. But again, my Ox trowel is still good for skimming. I just tend, you know, after you skim with trowels that long, if you're doing it day in day out, you'll notice they get so rounded and they're not really great. Good on a wall, I guess, but they're not great if you're doing full walls and you need to get into the corners. Believe it or not, I've come into houses where people, I know the price of the houses were absolutely terrible, but the guys had a rounded edge trowel, all, you know, not a skimming pool trowel, but, you know, and they just skimmed the ceilings and skimmed the walls and left all the corners bare. Like, you could still see the plasterboard behind it. It was hilarious, you know. Not that I'm not one to bitch on other people's work, you know. Everybody, you know, people are working their price, you know. That way everybody's trying to make a living. And I knew the prices of them houses was absolutely awful, so them guys were just trying to get in and out. But I found it funny that all the corners, you know, they didn't even turn their trowel. Most of my skimming trowels, I try to keep the back square so that I can turn them around and get them corners in. That's why you'll always see, you know, when I'm skimming, people's ask me here what trowels do I lay on with and trowel up and all with. So my main, like I'm saying, my main coating trowel is my Refina at the minute, but I'll always have my Ragnai trowel there. That's now my floating trowel. I always have a floating trowel with me that I'm trying to break in to being a skimming trowel. So you're always, you know, it's like a cycle. I always have a 2 trowel cycle. One that's my skimming trowel, main skimming trowel at that time, and then one that I'm breaking in and I'm still floating with and breaking in. Because once I get a trowel broken in, I tend not to want to float with it, because you'll encourage chips, you'll wear it down further, when it starts to go, you maybe pop the rivets and stuff. Floating's, it's a lot of pressing, there's a lot of heavy work with floating. You may drop your trowel and stuff floating more than when you're skimming. So I'll always have that backup trowel. At the minute it's the Refina for putting on 1-2 coats, troweling up. If you watch the other video, I show all that there, that way. So, the two Andrews are buddies. That's good, lads. That way. But the Ragni trowel, I was kind of going on about Tyzek and Ox would break in quicker, and then Refina and Marshalltown break in at about the same rate. But see, the Ragni trowel I was using, the grey handle one, it broke in. It took me, I'm not joking, a lot of sand cement to get it rounded now, and it's only rounded now, and I think I've got a slight kink in it. I need to get a check and try to top it out. I don't know if anybody's watched Kirk Giordano's plastering. He's stucco guy in America. So I don't know if anybody's watched him, but he has a video. This may come in handy for you. I also have a video. See if you bend the trowel and you can actually cut it down and use it, depending on where it's bent, of course. You can cut it down and use it as a midget trowel. But Kirk Giordano has, he has a video, and I'm not joking, this works. He has a video where he can straighten a bent trowel, but he does he does say, you know, it's almost a temporary fix. It will bend. It most likely will bend back out of place again, but he taps the stem of the trowel and straightens it up. And I've done it so many times. I did it for a big mate of mine, Emmett, and he was amazed. He was like, it was one of his best skimming trowel, and he was, you know, he was close to throwing it into the hedge, and I asked him, gives a wee look, and tapped it into shape again. And he's, you know, a plaster will tell when you're coating a wall, you get the wee lines. You get the wee lines if it's just twisted the wrong way slightly, that way, and you know it'll need to be straightened. You know, if a trowel bends the wrong way, it's nearly goosed that way. But Kirk does. He has a cracking wee video on that too. A bit like my video, making a midget trowel out of an old skimming trowel. Say one of your trowels, an old scraping trowel almost. You know, you might be able to salvage it for. That's actually, I'm rubbing up the wall here and putting nails in. I think I'm describing the different ways to key this undercoat in the background. But so yeah, Kirk has a good video on that too. But watch all my videos before you watch Kirk's. He has enough views. But no, Kirk's brilliant at doing the stucco. Very, very good. The diamond plaster as well. I've seen him doing that. So. But yeah, he tends to do most of his rendering. Well, obviously they're working over timber, metal lath. I think they call it metal lath, which is it's expanded metal. But the heat over there is like basically their winter. I think would be like our summer, what we are all getting here now. That way. But my mate Donald's asking me about the Marshalltown. To me personally, I think Marshalltowns, I know everybody's going to hate me, but I think they're overpriced compared to most other trowels. I think there's a lot more options now for plasters. There never used to be. When I first started, it was Marshalltown. You were a nutter if you had a blue handle trowel. You were an absolute nutter. You know, blue handle trowels back then were things that were going to rust, you know, into nothing within 2 months. But now Refina, the German companies Refina and Nila, they're making trowels now that are, you know, they're just as good as Marshalltown in my opinion, and they're lasting the same. I have a trowel out my back that cracked clean in half. It's a Marshalltown. So, you know, it's cracked in half. My Refina, I've been using it skimming now for I don't know how long. The unboxing's on my channel. If anybody wants to see how long I've been using that Refina trowel, they can go on. The Ox trowel, again, I have it unboxed as well. But the answer is Donald's question. I haven't actually used the Marshalltown. It does look good. I think it has like a black tape plastic cover around where the double blade meets, which to me looks a great idea as well. But the Refina, I've used the Refina and Ox superflexes. I think Refina is called a superflex and Ox is called an ultraflex, I think. But both of them brilliant trowels for the finishing that way. But just reading a few comments here. I don't know what flex to get that I can lay on with an issue, and it has a figure. Yeah, the plastic flex is about, you know, it's probably a 2mm thick blade. The Refina one that I've used, I've seen a couple of people using them, and people talking just even on site saying that they knew somebody that was coating walls and doing everything with it. You know, it does coat the walls well, but I'd prefer, with my Plastiflexes, I'd prefer to hit the first trowel with a Plastiflex or a speed skim, because you know after you've coated the wall there's no nails left on it. You know, if you hit a nail with a plastic trowel, you're going to have to go and buy a blade sharpener, which I don't know if anybody knows this, but see if you do have a nick on your plastic Plastiflex, Refina have a blade sharpener that apparently brings it back to new. Again, I've never used this, so I'm actually asking users if anybody has used that blade sharpener. Let me know. And I don't know. I know there is blade sharpeners for like you know, knives and stuff. I don't know how well. You know, my mate Donald, actually, I know he would have. Donald would know more about this than me for a blade sharpener for a knife. But would you use it on a skimming trowel if it had a bad nick? I'm not really sure. You might really opt for the sharpening stone, you know, the oil stone as you would call it. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a carbon steel trowel. It's probably just laziness for most people's parts of wanting to clean them and keep them clean and rust free for skimming the wall. But you know yourself, even if you rub it on a bit of a block and it's pretty much clean again, ready to go that way. Yeah. Gordon Mackey's sort of agreeing with me. You know, it's like I said, Marshalltown had the run of bricklaying trowels and plastering trowels, in my opinion. When everybody started here, probably in this chat, as a plasterer, 10 to 20 years ago, it's probably all just Marshalltown. Probably Marshalltown wooden handle, and then they evolved into a rubber handle. You know, people getting these big rough hands. So they came up with a rubber handle. It still gives you rough hands, but you know, I've had a wooden handle trowel and I found it quite comfortable actually when it's smoothened up that way. Yeah, well there you go as well, guys. If Andrew's saying here he uses his carbon fiber trowel, or sorry, carbon steel trowel every day, and it doesn't rust, so it won't rust. But it probably went black just slightly, you know. But it won't rust if you're using it. That's you know, more chance of me rusting if I stop working than your trowel, because you'll always be using it that way. But no, we're having a good chat here on trowels and stuff. There's definitely more on the market now for a plaster than there was even 7 years ago. 7 years ago, half these tools probably weren't even thought of. You know, don't get me wrong, I know spatulas and all have always been around. Like somebody quite rightly pointed out and said speed skim's not really new. There's been spatulas, but you know, the speed skim is new. It's a new product. Like, it's slightly different than the spatulas. It's like a spatula straight edge hybrid, you know, or hybrid. I'm not sure how you really mention them things. No, I wouldn't think it would be good for the blade. You might not get an even put on it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Don't know, you would end up, you know, sort of with them sharpening things, especially because you're going on metal. You need to be careful. You know, slit your hand clean open. Yeah, where a knife rounds off at the end, where your trowel, you know, you might go too deep in the middle. Probably definitely always best with a metal trowel if you get a nick, just to use the oil stone. That's the joiners use them for their chisels, guys. If you have a nick, probably the best thing. Or sand and cement for a week and you'll probably be good to go again. But I think that them using them blade sharpeners that we're talking about, I think Refina have one, and it's for the Plastiflex that, you know, if you're getting nicks in it, you can just strike it down there, and you know, you're not going to slice yourself open on the Plastiflex. I wouldn't imagine. If you do, don't come on and shout at me. Just don't do it. But you know, it will take the nicks out of that there. I think that's what was they saying for, was the Plastiflexes. Again, I've not used one, so if anybody in the future's watching this here, let me know what you think on it. Gold bolt trowel. So has anybody used a gold black trowel. I'm not sure what that is. What make is that? Is that Marshalltown, or are they their own brand, Andrew Pedley? That way. So, there you go. I think I've got the questions sorted there. But again, like I said, there's videos in the description to help out any sort of DIYers and stuff. Because at the end of the day, plastering will only continue if people are still trying to learn it, you know. Probably, I don't know if anybody will agree, obviously trades are old, like carpentry, you know, people have been carving things for a long time, but people might agree with this. I'm sure all the plasters will, but plastering probably hasn't changed very much. Probably pretty much, you know, I know the tools have all changed a slight bit, especially over the last sort of 8 years. Tools have evolved to help us more than hinder us. But you know, and I know there's pumps out there now and sprayers that can spray and pump the plaster on the wall, but you know, plastering on the whole, it's pretty still traditional. If anybody agrees with me there, you know, you can disagree with me and think no, it's completely changed, but yeah, it's still, I think it's still hard. It's still hard. I think people underestimate how hard plasters work. Like when I first started plastering, for instance, first onto the site, and my boss asked me how to plaster before, and I had actually done bits and pieces before I went onto the site with him, and I said yeah, I could skim a wee bit, I could use hawk and trowel, and sand and cement was put in front of me, and I thought, oh, and I watched these two guys working, the boss and his buddy, and they were like lightning, putting sand and cement on the wall, straightening it. Literally looked like they had walls on it in minutes. And so, you know, I thought happy days. Put the sand cement on the hawk, went to put it on the wall, bang, all over the floor. Maybe what's going on here? This stuff's, sand cement's a different ball game than skim, different ball game than bond. It doesn't, you know, there's no stick with it, and it will just flow straight off your hawk, straight off your trowel. So I did struggle that day. Especially the boss I had, you could hear him squealing a mile away, get that stuff picked up. So you can imagine I had a spat board under my wall. I still would do that at times, you know, if I know I'm going to be rushing, I'll put some cuttings of plasterboard along, catch my cement and get it used. Remix it, mix it up again, bring it back to life. But yeah, Andrew, definitely I agree. Plastering's definitely still hard. And I would say if there's anybody in the chat or again later on watching this that's used pumps, I know Kirk Giordano has used pumps. I know somebody that was working with a fella called Paul. I know he used pumps, and other people, and he was telling me that, you know, people using pumps, yeah, spraying it on, it's easier, but there's a guy straightening it all that up still with a straight edge. Like, that's straightening is what gives some plasters big strong arms, like, you know, that's where the muscle comes from. Sore backs, straightening walls gives you sore backs, sore necks, sore shoulders. It's not easy to straighten walls, so, you know, following a pump would not be no easy task, especially with carrying or something, you know, straightening that stuff up. Bubblegum, pushing bubblegum up the wall basically. And I know Kirk said that working with pumps was no easy job either. And I know my mate Paul, he was saying that basically somebody has to hold them pipes, you know, hold the hoses up all day, and they're not light, and that could literally be their job because the guy spraying needs it held up for a certain angle and stuff. Say a rod, I'm not sure. Oh, so yeah. Oh yeah, my boss. When I first started plastering, I used to box and stuff, and I was pretty fit. I played football and boxed like every day, and went to plastering and thought I was fit, but you know, it was a different ball game. I was like, why am I getting so tired? I'm so fit, I should be able to do this, but you know, I was still so young, you know, 15, 16, carrying a bucket of mortar that a man filled up, and I tried to carry up ladders and stuff, and I'm thinking, I think I'll have to build up. I have to build up muscle. So plastering definitely is, it's there. You know, it's not for the faint-hearted. And again, it's like I said, like them plasters in front of me when I was new, I was daunting. I was looking at that going after dropping stuff on the floor, thinking, how do I get to that level from, you know? So when people are learning, you know, you will feel like that. You might feel like you're completely out of the water. You know, you're gonna feel like you're out of your depth, but everybody has to start from somewhere. So don't be afraid to learn. You know, you have to start from the bottom to get to the top. You know, not many people are gonna land at the top, especially with plastering. Plastering's a thing, unlike some other trades, that will be seen. There's no hiding. You know, it's there to be seen. So you do have to learn from the ground up with plastering. You will have to, you know, maybe I'm on some of my videos somebody said I'm making it look a bit too easy, but it's with experience and more muscle you build and muscle memory you build, and with your experience you'll maybe use, like somebody also said in the comment, use your brain more than your brawn, you know. Try and make life easier. One of my boss always said that he said plastering's hard enough, try and make it easier for yourself. Don't, you know, you have a whole day. It's like I said in the other video, try to think of it as a marathon and not a sprint. You know, you have a whole day to get through. Even if you have to lighten a bucket, you know, don't look at somebody else thinking he's filling his bucket right to the brim, I have to do that, or I'm weaker than him. You know, don't fill the bucket half full. Go twice. You know, take 2 lighter loads. Don't put yourself out. You know, out of work for the sake of trying to be more macho. You know, just take it easy in your stride. And you will get there. I promise you that if anybody's determined as an apprentice, you'll get there. You know, if you're determined to learn. The best apprentices will always ask questions. You'll probably annoy the person, but you know, you may think you're annoying them, but you know, if you're there to learn, you know, and you're asking questions, your boss or whoever you're working with, they'll be happy to answer. You know, they'll be happy that you're taking an interest in it. You know, they'll know you're not just there just to pick up your money on Friday and you might not show money and stuff. But labourers, they're tough workers too. We're talking about plasters getting hard. Some labourers are, you know, they make it look easy as well. Carrying them buckets. Has Kirk said a rod man? I'm not sure what that means, Andrew, buddy. Hope it's not bad. But Jimbo agrees with us. Yeah, plastering, you know, so if anybody is watching and thinking, you know, even patches are not really, you know, they might be a little less physical, but it's still hard to get the feel and get the right pressures in that they're on, you know, that way. But no, I'll have to look into that, Andrew, as well, that American company, and see what them trials are all about. But basically, yeah, guys, that's why it's easy. Yeah, it would be tough keeping up with the sprayer. But like I said, I was sort of laughing earlier about corners, but like, you know, it's easy for everybody to come in, especially people who aren't plasters, come in and go, oh, you know, criticise plasters' work, because like I said, it's all there to be seen. But you know, sometimes they don't realise what you're up against. You know, some people, you know, some builders you may be working for, you know, materials, maybe under pressure. Like we're talking earlier, somebody was saying something about council workers, but the pressure some plasters are under just to make a living, other people couldn't put up with, you know, and they wouldn't put up with. They'd maybe bounce, you know, they'd maybe walk, but I know my mate bounced off his site recently because I think he was sick of working so hard, being under so much pressure just to make let's say half decent wage, you know. I'm going to talk about money and stuff, but plastering definitely, you know, it's definitely not easy. Site work's not easy. I do have respect to all the site plasters as well. It's definitely not easy. I've been there and I've done it. I've worn the t-shirt. I'm wearing the Mac Plastering t-shirt in this video, but definitely site work, private work can be hard too. Site work and private work, they are similar in what you're doing, of course, but there's also so much differences. The likes of some private work, you gotta cover up more. You maybe have to be a bit cleaner. People live in the house, you have to have different thoughts. Where at site you can be a wee bit, you can maybe clean something later. Or if you're working on somebody's house, you gotta clean that before you go home. You gotta maybe move your dust sheets and put them back down again. Where on site you may not even need dust sheets that way. But yeah, buddy. But Andrew, seen you learn your trade on site. Well, it's a bit like myself. Like I did, the guy I worked with, he did sites and private work. So you were never stuck for work with him. You could have worked. He was an absolute workhorse. You could have worked morning, noon, night, weekends. You could have worked all day long, every day for him. He had to work there, and he was willing to do the work too. He wasn't one of them bosses that was shy of working. One of the things I do respect about him, he didn't hide. He didn't say, do this room, I'll be back to pick you up, and kind of them boys. He was very much hands dirty, too long. But yeah, you definitely, as apprentices, you will learn a good load of years in a site, and you'll be definitely up there with boys learning. But private jobs have different aspects to them that you might need to pick up. I think that's how I got a good lot of knowledge of. Obviously the guys working for had tons and tons of knowledge. Still this day I'm wondering how he was still so quick. And the other big fella as well. He was another workhorse, labourer as well. Still Tiger Stripes. How's it going, Josie, buddy? Not recently. I have no problems with Tiger Stripes. But that's another wee thing with blisters. I might try and roll Tiger Stripes and blisters into a wee video, and talk a bit more about them. But I think I'm gonna have to go here and try and watch a bit of film before I go to bed for another day. But yeah, Josie, sorry if you're only in here and I'm probably about to head on. But yeah, I'm gonna try and get another few videos up. Like I said, I need to get the Ragni up. Have tons of wee videos I want to just upload and share. Some, believe it or not, some to do with bricklaying and stuff. If you can imagine a plaster could do a bit of bricklaying. Not that I'm the best bricklayer in the world. I'm certainly not. I'm no Stu Compton, like. But certain me jobs there I've cracked on and done. But yeah, Tiger Stripes will be another thing. I did do a wee video on how to avoid them. But personally, again, I think Tiger Stripes is your timing. Bit like blisters, timing, weighing the coat. Tiger Stripes, weighing the trowel. Get your dirty watermarks off and that. But yeah, guys, so I have a good couple of videos up. I hope the guy that was asking the questions comes on and gets to listen to all these and gets to read all the comments. Some brilliant comments and discussions of tools here going on. But again, tool talk, I could literally talk about plastering tools all day long, and buy them as well. I could spend my wages on tools. But yeah, some good stuff coming up in the future as well. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Some exciting stuff. Don't want to say too much. I think I said something in previous videos as well. But I must just get them edited and get them uploaded, guys. But yeah, so I think if anybody else wants to drop any comments in or watch the videos I was talking about, they're in the description and stuff there. But I think for me, for now, that's more or less it, done. I think I got them videos sorted and them answers sorted and stuff. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.